Knowing if you're in alignment and knowing when you're out of alignment is extremely critical and powerful when it comes to manifesting your reality and living the life that you actually want. Because when you're out of alignment, things start to work in a much harder way and things don't flow easily to you. So when you're out of alignment, things become very hard, things become very difficult. And so it's super critical that you understand the difference and have that contrast in your experience between being in alignment and being out of alignment. Whether you're making a decision based on intuition or fear, and knowing the difference between these two things will allow you to shift into the reality and literally get to the path that you're meant to live on. The path that your soul really wants to be on, that is truly in alignment with your actual calling. So knowing the difference is extremely critical and will be a necessary understanding that you need to have if you want to actually live the life that you desire, and you have to be in alignment to live that life. So it's super critical that you understand this. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because I post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to become a private client, then consider applying for a free consultation by hitting the website that's in the description box of this video. So the first sign that you are out of alignment is things feel very heavy and dense and dark. And I'm not just talking for a moment, because sometimes life brings us situations where we have to go through a little bit of darkness. I'm talking about if you're consistently feeling negative, if you're consistently feeling dark energy throughout the entire day, if you're consistently feeling this negative energy and you just can't quite put your finger on it, you don't know what's really happening, you can't quite understand it, but something just feels off. You know, you wake up in the morning and it's like something just feels off and you don't really know why. And then it lasts through the entire day. You just feel like something's off. Something doesn't feel right. That's a sign that you are out of alignment, because when you're in alignment, what happens is things feel very easy. Things feel very light. You're in a flow state. Things become very effortless. You have synchronicities happening. Everything flows in your life in a much easier way. But when you're out of alignment, it's quite the opposite. It's a negative feeling consistently throughout the day. Things feel heavy because you're probably attached to something, right? That heaviness is probably coming from something your ego is attached to. Probably coming from some attachment to the past or the future, right? Because that's what the ego does. The ego loves to attach and hold on. And so holding on and being attached to your ego, not being in alignment with your true sense of self and who you actually are at a deeper level as pure consciousness and awareness, there's a heaviness that comes with that energy, right? There's a certain heaviness, and it's like things feel very dense, and the ego likes to hold on and make things difficult. And so if you feel this heavy, dense energy consistently throughout the entire day, then you know you're out of alignment. And so don't get me wrong, sometimes going through a little bit of darkness, feeling negative energy, does not necessarily mean that you're out of alignment. So don't be fearful if you feel negative energy and be like, oh my gosh, I'm out of alignment. Sometimes it's okay to feel these negative emotions, because you have to bring the light to the darkness. You have to bring the consciousness to the unconsciousness to be able to work through that energy and let it go. And so that heavy feeling may seem like something negative, but in fact, it is actually a gift, because it's telling you that you are out of alignment. The universe is so amazing that it's showing you and giving you a sign that you are out of alignment so that you can get back into alignment. So the darkness is there for you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you so that you can let it go and get back into alignment, right? It's not happening, like these negative things and being out of alignment may seem like a negative thing on the surface, but the reality is that it's a very powerful gift showing you what you have to do, showing you, okay, there's something I need to fix. Maybe a certain food isn't in alignment with you. Maybe you can't eat that food. Maybe a relationship that you have is not in alignment anymore. And so you feel this energy and you just have this feeling, okay, this is out of alignment. And it's trying to tell you, the universe is giving you a sign telling you to let this go, to just let it go and get back into alignment. So the second sign that you are out of alignment is you're taking actions based on fear. Because if you're taking actions based on fear, what happens is you're not following the path of your true calling. You're not following the path of love and light and consciousness, but you're actually following the path of ego and fear and darkness and unconsciousness. So if you're taking actions based on fear, if you're taking actions that are based on anger, anxiety, worry, and fear, if there's an action that you're taking that's grounded in a foundation of fear, of something else not working out, then you know you're out of alignment. Because when you're in alignment, you are fearless. You're selfless. There's no fear when you're in alignment. Sometimes stepping up into your vision may include a little bit of fear. So don't get me wrong. Sometimes when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you have to work through a little bit of fear to be able to let it go and then step up into that new vision and then get back into alignment. So sometimes leveling up in life actually means temporarily stepping out of alignment to some degree. But I'm talking about the big decisions. If you're making a big decision that's based on fear, you know you're headed on the path that is out of alignment for you. So I'll give you a practical example. A couple months ago, I was in school doing something that I didn't actually enjoy. Okay, so I was in college doing a program that was not in alignment for me. And then I started to realize that the only reason that I stay in that program, the only reason I knew if I was to stay in that program was my fear of YouTube not working out, fear of my coaching not working out, fear of my true path not working out. And I knew that if I was to stay in that course, to stay in that program, to continue going to college, doing something that I didn't enjoy, that it was just grounded in fear. Okay, and I know that sounds cliche to some degree, but it actually isn't, because I became so clear that the only reason I was to stay in that program was because I was attached to fear. I was attached to my true soul's purpose not actually working out. And so I knew that I had to let it go. I just knew that I had to let go of that program. And I knew that, here's the question I asked myself. If there was no fear, what decision would I make? What action would I take? And so ever since I started living my life in this way, where I shift deeply into the moment, I step into alignment, I connect to the present moment, I don't overthink, I don't overanalyze, I tap into that deeper intuition, just shifting into the conscious observer, and I make decisions from that space. Because when you make decisions from that space, from a place of no fear, or maybe if there is fear, you take a step back and you say, okay, wait a second. This fear is not who I am. This fear is just conditioning. This fear is survival. This fear is the unconscious part of me, the shadow part of me, trying to keep me in the darkness. And so I knew that when I feel that, I had to become conscious of that. So I shift into the awareness and I make decisions from that space, because from that space is where true intuition arises. And you can harness this intuition as you develop more awareness and consciousness. You can literally harness this intuition to be able to get into alignment in a much easier way, because now you see clearly whether you're taking action based on fear or consciousness and light. Okay, fear or living into your highest excitement and your vision. You always want to follow the excitement and the vision. Always. If you follow the fear and you take action based on fear, then you're always going to be out of alignment and not in alignment with your true purpose. And so don't get me wrong. Once again, sometimes stepping up into your new vision, following that vision may include a little bit of fear. But it's not like a dark fear. It's like an exciting fear where you're almost willing to be uncomfortable because you know that it will help you grow. So there's difference between the ego fear and a fear that you have to work through when you're stepping up in life. To some degree, it is the same fear trying to creep back through the back door, right? You're stepping up in life. What is that fear? That's actually your own ego trying to bring you back to the shadow, to bring you back to the darkness. And so you want to be conscious of these two things. Make sure that you don't take action based on fear. Take action based on being present to the moment. Shift your awareness to the moment and take action from that space. Because when you take action from that space, you'll be in alignment. If you're taking action from fear, you know you're out of alignment. But once again, keep a note in your mind where you realize that sometimes stepping up into that new vision may involve fear, but that doesn't mean that you're out of alignment in that case. In that case, you just have to work through some programming when you're stepping up into that new reality, because you have to let go of that old sense of self that you would not be able to hold on to any longer if you want to step up into that new vision, into that new identity, that new version of you, where that old fear is not in alignment any longer. So the third sign that you are out of alignment is you're reacting to life, okay? If you're reacting to your thoughts, if you're reacting to your emotions, if you're reacting to family members, if you're reacting to life situations, if you're reacting to all these things happening in your life, maybe things are falling out of place, maybe it seems like they're falling out of place, when in reality they're falling into place, and you're reacting to that. So if you're in reaction to not having money in your bank account and you're feeling negative emotions based on the external circumstances for longer than needed, that means you're out of alignment. If you're reacting to some situation and allowing the external circumstances to define your internal state, then you were out of alignment. Because being in alignment means that you create the energy within you. You don't seek validation outside of yourself. You have validation, you build up energy just being here now from within you. You don't depend on external circumstances to define your internal state. You realize that the external is a result of the internal. And if you start to allow the external to define the internal, and you're reacting to the external can also mean your thoughts and your emotions, believe it or not. If you're reacting to things happening outside of you, if you're reacting to your own thoughts and emotions that you think are things happening outside of you, but really it's just your own reactions, then you know you're out of alignment. Because here's the thing, is that you think that the situation outside of you is actually making you react this way, but it's just triggering something within you. And what's happening is you are reacting to that trigger and resisting that trigger when it is in fact a gift happening for you to let it go. So what you want to realize is that if you want to be in alignment, you have to start to allow yourself to just feel what you're feeling. Don't react to it. Don't be in reaction to life. Use the trigger and let it go. Use the trigger as a gift. Because remember this, things are not happening to you, but they're happening for you. So anything that may seem negative on the surface actually is happening for your spiritual growth and your highest development, so that you can ascend to a higher state of consciousness. That's what's really happening. Every single time a reaction comes up within you, the universe is giving you a sign that you can either choose the path of reactivity and out of alignment, or bring the light to the darkness and shift back into alignment. And that's what shadow work really is. Every single time you feel a reaction within you, and you choose to become the conscious awareness and observer and disidentify and detach from these negative feelings, you get closer and closer and closer to being in alignment with your true soul's purpose. And so what you want to realize is that being out of alignment means reacting to life, reacting to everything, not being the observer, not just simply being here as the awareness, as the consciousness, as the love, as the light, as what you actually are. You react to it. You react because here's what you got to realize. When you are the observer, you can transmute that negative energy and that negative situation into peaceful and positive light, because everything turns into love when you're present. I know it sounds cliche, but it's exactly how it works. When you start to become more present to the moment, when you start to enter this flow state and this high vibration of who you actually are, you stop reacting to life. You start taking responsibility, which is your ability to respond to the situations in the way that you prefer. Because it's your thoughts and that lead to emotions about the situation creating the negative feeling, not the actual situation. And the more awareness that you develop, you will start to see that reacting to life brings you out of alignment. So something happens in your life, you stub your toe, it's okay to react, but if you stay in reaction for like hours and hours and you let that ruin the rest of your day, that's not being in alignment, okay? Holding on to negativity, reacting longer than necessary, holding onto negative energy in your energy field for longer than needed is not being in alignment and will hold you back from creating the life that you actually want. Okay, so just to conclude this video, the first sign you're out of alignment is a negative and heavy energy. Okay, you want to become the observer of that energy and let it go. Just let go of the energy. Stop holding on. Your ego doesn't have to hold on any longer. Your ego doesn't have to hold on to this energy. Just let it go. Just let it go. You don't have to hold on. The second sign is actions based on fear. If you're taking actions based on fear, you are out of alignment. The third sign is you're reacting to life. Stop reacting to life. Become the observer of the reaction. Don't attach to the reaction. Shift into who you actually are as the conscious observer, the witnessing presence, as pure consciousness, as love, as light, and bring it to the darkness of the reactivity. If you do all these things and you make sure that you don't do these things that put you out of alignment and you become conscious of how to step into alignment, you'll be able to live your life in a much easier way. You'll be able to feel that sense of inner peace, which will allow you to manifest in a much easier way. So that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button so more people can actually see this video. Also, I wanted to announce that I have a free guided meditation that's specifically designed to help you connect deeper to the present moment. So if you want to try that out, it's completely free. Just hit the link that's in the description box of this video. I'll also leave it as a comment in this video. It's completely free. Just try it out and you will not be disappointed. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.